Welcome to OLevels Economics Unit 25 Macroeconomic Aims of Government. The main macroeconomic aims of government include economic growth, low unemployment, price stability, balance of payments, stability, and redistribution of income. Governments use a variety of policy tools to achieve these objectives, although success also depends on global economic conditions. Economic growth refers to an increase in the output of goods and services in an economy. In the short run, this is called actual economic growth, while in the long run, sustainable growth depends on an increase in productive capacity, known as potential economic growth. This can be achieved through improvements in the quantity and quality of factors of production, such as better education, more capital, and technological progress. Economists analyze growth using tools like production possibility curves and aggregate demand and aggregate supply diagrams. Aggregate demand represents total spending in the economy and consists of consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports. An increase in aggregate demand can lead to higher output and possibly higher prices. Aggregate supply refers to the total output firms are willing to produce. When there are unused resources, output can increase without raising prices. But as the economy reaches full capacity, further increases in output tend to push up costs and lead to inflation. Governments aim for economic growth because it improves living standards. Higher output can result in better healthcare, education, and housing, allowing people to live longer and more comfortable lives. Economic growth can also help achieve other macroeconomic aims, such as reducing unemployment, increasing tax revenue, and improving the balance of payments if exports rise. Governments often set growth targets based on their economy's potential growth rate, which depends on how close the economy is to full capacity and how quickly its productive capacity is expanding. Another key aim is low unemployment. Governments seek to ensure that as many people as possible who are willing and able to work can find jobs, a situation often referred to as full employment. The labour force includes those who are employed and those actively seeking work, while others, such as students, retirees, and homemakers, are considered economically inactive. The unemployment rate is measured as a percentage of the labour force. Although zero unemployment is not realistic due to people changing jobs, most governments aim for a low and stable rate. Low unemployment is important because unemployment represents a waste of resources and leads to lower incomes, reduced living standards, and higher government spending on benefits. It can also reduce tax revenue and slow economic growth. Price stability is another important objective. This means maintaining a stable overall price level, where inflation is low and predictable. Governments usually aim for a small, positive rate of inflation rather than zero inflation, often around 2%. Price stability creates certainty, allowing households and firms to plan their spending and investment with confidence. It also helps maintain international competitiveness, as high inflation can make exports more expensive. A small amount of inflation can be beneficial because it encourages spending and investment and allows firms to adjust real wages without cutting nominal wages. However, governments try to avoid deflation, especially when caused by falling demand, as it can lead to lower output and higher unemployment. Balance of payment stability refers to maintaining a balance between export revenues and import expenditures over time. Governments generally aim for exports to be roughly equal to imports in the long run. Persistent deficits can lead to borrowing and debt, while large surpluses may indicate that a country is not fully enjoying the goods and services it could consume. However, short-term imbalances are not always a concern, especially if imports are used to purchase capital goods that will increase future production. Governments focus on maintaining a sustainable position rather than exact balance at all times. Redistribution of income is another key aim, where governments attempt to reduce inequality by transferring income from the rich to the poor. This is done through progressive taxation and government spending on benefits and public services such as education and healthcare. Redistribution is important because high levels of inequality can lead to poverty, social unrest, and unequal opportunities. However, governments do not aim for complete equality, as this could reduce incentives to work and invest. Instead, they try to strike a balance between fairness and efficiency. Finally, there may be conflicts between these macroeconomic aims. For example, achieving low unemployment may lead to higher inflation, as increased demand for labour pushes up wages and costs. Similarly, economic growth may worsen the balance of payments if rising incomes lead to increased imports. Because of these trade-offs, governments often have to prioritise certain objectives over others based on the economic situation and public concerns. Overall, managing the macroeconomy involves balancing these competing aims to achieve sustainable and stable economic performance. Thanks for watching.